Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but my farm's so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let's hang out inside and check out my brand new sweet custom safe room build. Let's go.
The weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Come on into my cozy little safe room. Today, we're gonna be taking a look at several different things inside this safe room. First is this custom build. If you've been watching my videos, you know that this is all new. My safe room was not set up like this, but I hooked up with a company called Lockdown, and they have just released these panels called Secure Walls. So they make the panels, they make all the accessories. Honestly, I'm in love. I love how it's so modular, how I can really just customize and change this whole room around. I want to give a shout out to Lockdown for getting me hooked up with all these awesome products. The way that ever came to be is I made a video much like this on the Gould Brothers channel walking through my safe room. Lockdown saw the video, saw that I just had guns leaned up against the wall everywhere, which was a nightmare. I tell you what, because what had happened several times is I'd be in the kitchen and my kids would run over and say, "Dad, we heard some loud crashing in your safe room." Thousands of dollars of guns crashing to the floor. My setup was not ideal. After they saw that video, Lockdown contacted me and said, "Dude, it's a pretty cool safe room, but you need some help, and we got a solution for you." So that's how it came to be. I actually ended up out in Arizona with them in November and did an event where they were telling us about the panels, and we got to shoot all sorts of cool guns. In fact, some of the guns in the safe room that I'll bring up in just a little bit came from that event. So real quickly about these secure wall panels, they have 3 different sizes, and I am just amazed how it worked out in my safe room, because from ceiling to floor, it's a perfect fit, end to end, it's a perfect fit. So like, these panels were made to be in my safe room. The panels go up really, really easy. You just screw them right up, ideally into studs. They are more affordable than almost all the options out there, but that's only part of it. There may be a cheaper panel option out there, but a lot of these companies that make panels, they're hooks. These secure walls are compatible with standard peg hooks. So like, these are just standard peg hooks that I picked up from a hardware store, nothing special. They work just fine. But then of course, Lockdown makes the accessories as well. So like this handgun hanger here, it's powder coated, and then they have a vinyl coating where the gun rests, so it's not gonna mar your guns up. This is about $6. The competitors range from $12 to $30 for a handgun hanger. Well, take a look around. If you've got a few guns, that's gonna add up. That is huge. I love how these hook in, very simple. Goes in the top, comes down, clicks in, solid and secure. They have handgun pegs that come straight out. They have angled ones if you want to display more like that. They have vertical racks. As you can see, all these shotguns on vertical racks. They have long gun holders. I don't have those yet, but they have long gun holders if you want to display them horizontally on the wall. They have shelves, they have hooks, they have baskets, a lot of different accessories. I'm just getting started, but I'm just happy that all my firearms are secured. I think it looks super cool. I'm very impressed with this product so far. What I think is super cool about this is maybe you don't have a dedicated safe room, but you could take one of these panels and say maybe you have just a handful of guns. You could put one of these panels in your closet and have guns hanging right there in your closet if that's what you wanted. I'm gonna put a link down in the description if you're interested in these secure wall panels and accessories from Lockdown. I definitely recommend you check them out. Lockdown makes other accessories as well, some that I've had for quite a while. For example, this magazine holder. They have handgun holders like you see here. They have this cool magnet that I've thrown up. You could attach a handgun to it if you wanted to. I don't have a good spot for my knives and throwing hatchets, so I just throw them there for now. Make some really cool accessories to conveniently store all of your guns and gun accessories. But enough about Lockdown. Let's jump into some of the guns, because I want to show off some of these guns. A lot of them have history and stories. But before I dive into the guns, as we go through this video, I want you to think about 2 questions. What is one gun that is in my safe room that you wish you had? And then also, what is one gun that is not in my safe room that you really think should be? Let's jump in. The first gun I'm gonna start with is my first gun. That is none other than the Mossberg 500. Now I just put out a review on the Mossberg 500. It's my very first gun. I was just getting into hunting, just getting into shooting. I wanted a gun that was versatile, that could do a lot of different things. This came with both a bird barrel and a slug barrel, so I could deer hunt, I could bird hunt, I could shoot clays. It was cheap, and I was a poor college student. So this gun really fit the bill. Shot it a lot to begin with, and I really didn't shoot it much until I did my recent review. And I've got to say, I've gained a new respect for Mossberg and the Mossberg 500. This is my first gun, but since then I have shot hundreds of guns, and I have new respect for this gun. Moving on from the Mossberg 500, I was shooting, I was loving it, I was hunting, I wanted a semi-auto. I went to the store, looked at all the semi-autos, and there was one gun that stood out to me. That was the Winchester SX2. The SX3 had just came out. I'm still a poor college student, so the SX2 was the cheaper option. I couldn't justify getting the SX3 at that point. I got this gun, and I remember the first time I shot it. I think I was hand throwing clays, and I threw up clays, and I shot one, and then I yanked on the gun trying to pump it because I was so used to shooting a pump. Comment down below if you've done that, going from pumps to semi-autos. Such a smooth shooting shotgun. A little on the heavier side now compared to some of the newer guns, but solid gun. Absolutely love shooting the Winchester SX2. Now that gun is a 3.5 inch, and as I got more serious into exhibition shooting, I realized 3.5 inch was not the way to go. So I set out to find a 3-inch gun that would be perfect for exhibition shooting. Looked high and low. Winchester SX3 was the gun. This is my original exhibition gun. You can see here that it has the Duracoat that is just worn off. A lot of time on this gun, honing my craft. It's actually really cool because it's super sticky. I mean, it looks tacky and junky. This gun is not going anywhere. This is the gun that really started the career, starting off exhibition shooting. Eventually moved to the Winchester SX4 when it came out. Hundreds of thousands of rounds through this gun, hundreds of thousands through the SX3. They are tried and true. Still one of my favorite guns. This particular gun is pretty cool because we had this one done by Deadeye Liquid Graphics right here in Minnesota. And it ended up in the Dude Perfect video. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out. Aaron and I collaborated with Dude Perfect, shotgun trick shots. This was also in another video. If you look right there, there's blue paint on it. Comment below if you know what video that was. It was a Gould Brothers video, not a Target Focus Life video. But this gun has some stories. It has some wear and tear. I've worn it down, but a lot of great memories. It has traveled to a lot of states, been part of a lot of exhibitions. Every couple years I update, getting some new graphics. I had this one made last year. Graphics were done by Deadeye Liquid Graphics. It is a Target Focus Life edition. I think they do a phenomenal job. I love the Cerakote. Put a Falcon Strike on this one. Light recoiling shotgun for sure. But if you throw a Falcon Strike on there, even less recoil, helps me shoot super fast, get back on target. If you're not familiar with Falcon Strike and you'd like to reduce recoil on any of your guns, I'll put a link to that in the description. You can check that out. So I've been shooting the Winchester shotguns in exhibitions for a lot of years. After the last couple years of doing all the shotgun reviews, I'm considering mixing it up, maybe going with a change. I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you believe the best exhibition shotgun would be? Is it the SX4? Is there a different gun that would be better? I'll tell you a couple that I'm considering. The Franchi Affinity 3. This gun continues to blow my mind, just like the Winchester. Super reliable. At a great price point. It is an inertia gun. I tend to like gas guns when it comes to exhibition. They're a little bit more reliable from different positions. There's lighter recoil, but this gun has continued to impress me, and I shot it super fast. This might be on the list, potential exhibition gun. What do you think? One of the other ones that is coming to the top of my list that I may consider is right over here. This is the Mossberg 940 Pro. I got a chance to review this shotgun with Jerry Michalik, and I'll tell you what, if it's good enough for Jerry Michalik, it's probably good enough for me. Super fast gun. I shot this actually in a Gould Brothers video, incredibly fast. The only thing I'm not super in love with is that it has a flat rib. I prefer a stepped up rib. If you watch my videos, I say that repeatedly all the time. Oh, speaking of exhibitions, let's grab this bad boy right here. This right here is a cannon. On top of an AR lower. This bad boy shoots 12-ounce soda cans. Look at that bore. That's a big shotgun right there. Let's move on from the exhibitions. We'll go down all the way to this side of the room. I built this house in 2020, and I had a little bit bigger safe room designed. We got our bid back. The price was a little more than what we could tolerate, so we had to shrink the house size down a little bit. And my wife is looking at the plans and says, "Do you need a safe room that big?" I said, "Babe, If I'm in this business, even a couple more years is going to be too small. And I just want to say, honey, here we are, a couple years later. Safe room's too small. But before I dig myself a deep hole with my wife, let's just move on right out of that. Over-unders over here. Don't have a ton of over-unders. Just started reviewing them this year. I've had a lot of fun doing that. One of the guns that has stood out is the Browning Satori 725. This gun is in 28 gauge. So much fun to shoot. Just feels great in the hands. Great trigger. Trigger shoes, adjustable trigger, mechanical triggers, palm swell. This rose to the top for me this year, but there's a lot more over-unders. Hopefully eventually get into some side-by-sides as well. Comment down below what's your favorite over-under and what is one over-under that I should review this year. Put that in the comments, would love to see that. Have several different Winchester lever action guns. These are a ton of fun. These are all current model replicas. This is a 4570. This is a beast of a gun. It is a model 1886, octagon barrel, color case hardened. Very pretty guns, don't shoot them very often. This is a 38 special, is a model 1866. Only downside of this is if you put a fingerprint on it, it will tarnish. You gotta make sure you wipe fingerprints down on these very carefully. Very cool gun. Bunch of other lever actions up here. Oh, I like this one. Look at this, huge loop. It just makes me feel like I'm a cowboy. This is a model 1892 in 357. Pretty cool gun. Love those old lever actions. I would love to have some of the actual old lever actions, not the replicas, but we'll work on that. I also would like to have a lot more old shotguns. I have a few that I've just started collecting this year. See, as I've gotten into shooting, it's been like a lot of current production, manufacturers sending guns, but the old guns I have to go out and buy, which I absolutely love. They're unique, they have character, they have history. A couple guns that I want to point out is this Browning A5. This gun was manufactured in 1948. Was able to get this from a relative's estate. A relative, his name was Dan Gould. He was a big supporter of the Gould brothers, just an awesome guy. He unfortunately passed away. This is one of the guns that he had, and so I ended up purchasing this. What's cool about the original A5 versus the new model A5, and I'm sure a lot of you know this, the barrel actually goes rearward to work the action. Probably one of my favorite older shotguns, the A5. One gun that's on my list is the Winchester Model 97. It's a pump action shotgun with a hammer fired. Very cool. I don't have one yet. I would like to get one. This is a Winchester Model 12. A lot of these made over the years. This was actually the pump shotgun that Herb Parsons used in his live exhibitions in the 30s and 40s. This particular shotgun was manufactured in the 1940s. This was my very first Model 12 and my only Model 12 to date. I just wanted to pick one up, found this at a local retailer, grabbed it. It's a great condition. Eventually, I want to make some videos. Once I get through a lot of the current production model shotguns, start making videos on some of the older shotguns. Put a comment down below what older shotgun you would love to see me shooting, talking about the history, having fun with it. This gun is a Remington Model 31, which was the predecessor to the 870 Express. I did a review on that. It was actually one of my top review videos this year as far as views. If you want to learn more about that gun, check that out. This is an M1 Garand. I picked this up a couple years ago. I didn't have an M1 Garand, iconic rifle that was used in World War II, even into Korea, I believe. This particular gun is kind of a hodgepodge. A lot of these M1s you'll find are not fully in their original state. So for example, this receiver was manufactured by Winchester. I believe the trigger group, International Harvester, the barrel someone else, the stock someone else. It's been taken from miniguns and put back together. The reason I chose this M1 Garand is because it is a Winchester. Winchester only manufactured these receivers during World War II, so I know it's a World War II era receiver. It's for the stock and trigger and stuff. I don't know exactly. You can spend a whole lot more money on these if you get them in their original form or if you know that they were used in World War II, for example. I picked that M1 Garand up at the CMP in Talladega, I believe. Talladega, Alabama. And as you'll notice, if you look at this wall, there's a gun that doesn't fit. Older guns with this crazy alien looking gun in the middle. This is actually the Smith & Wesson M&P 12 shotgun. Very unique shotgun, different than all the rest that I have. This one is fully loaded, extremely heavy. This is a personal defense shotgun that I keep loaded around the house in case someone gets wise ideas and wants to come visit me unexpected. It has 2 magazines. I think the capacity is 14 rounds. It kind of loads funky. It loads through the back right here. You can switch magazine tubes by doing that. It is a pump shotgun, obviously. The release is right here. That's kind of different. Nice personal defense shotgun topped with a HRO red dot from Crimson Trace. This is one of the guns I got from Lockdown at their event this fall. They did the graphics on it, had it customized, so very, very cool. I thank Lockdown for that. I got a lot of randomness here, a lot of semi-autos. You've seen most of the reviews. I won't talk heavy about semi-autos. A few guns that do stand out from my reviews. Beretta A400 Extreme Plus, great waterfowling gun. I just put out top 5 videos, pump shotguns, top 5 semi-autos, top 5 over-unders, so I won't talk much about those. You can check those out. You can see what my top picks are. What I don't have yet is the top 5 bolt-action shotguns. This here is a bolt-action shotgun, model 59, 20 gauge. Really, really cool. There's something about putting shot shell into a magazine and then just run the bolt every time you shoot. I wonder if I could pull off an exhibition shot, like throw 2 clays, probably break the gun trying to do it, but that's kind of a neat gun. Only bolt action shotgun that I have. I don't know how many different bolt action shotguns have been made throughout history. Something I need to learn. There's a lot I still need to learn. I love to do research. I love to learn new things about guns. I feel like I'm relatively new in this journey, even though I've been shooting professionally for the last 13 years, doing exhibitions and doing reviews over the last year and a half here on Target Focus Life. The gun world is vast, and I know little. I do know a thing or two about shotguns, but there's a lot of history that I have yet to learn. Taking a jump over here, I got some handguns on display. This is a gun, it's a Browning Buckmark. I used this in a video on Target Focus Life this year, where 22 Plinkster and I have been going back and forth a little bit. He pulled off a shot that I said was a stupid shot, and I regretted trying because I didn't get it. Wearing drunk goggles, trying to shoot a clay out of the air. Stupid shot, 22 Plinkster goes out and gets it. I don't know how he's able to get it. Maybe he's used to impaired vision when he shoots. I don't know. I had to admit defeat, but then I pulled off a shot that I know 22 Plinkster will not try. Actually went into the limbo and shot a flying clay out of the air, out of a trap machine with this gun. Ton of fun. Still waiting for 22 Plinkster to try that one. Go comment on his channel. Give him a hard time because I don't think he'll be able to even get back. I don't think he's flexible. Some of these other guns, like this Ruger Vaquero, was used in revolver trick shots on the Gould Brothers channel. Had a lot of fun making that video. And it was probably one of the hardest videos that Aaron and I made on Gould Brothers. Got several other 22s, 380s. Love to shoot 22s. Can spend all day shooting 22s, and it doesn't necessarily break the bank. What's even more fun is suppress 22. Got a suppressor there for our 22. This is the Smith & Wesson 929 Performance Center, Jerry Miculek edition, 9mm, ton of fun to shoot that. This is another one of those guns I got from Lockdown. This is a Polymer 80, 9mm. This is another one of those guns that I have at the ready. It's got a Crimson Trace red dot on it. These custom graphics. Special thank you to Lockdown for getting that done. And since I mentioned that gun, the third gun that I got from Lockdown as part of that event was the Springfield St. Victor. This is a 5.56, again with a Crimson Trace optic on the top with a throw lever. Had a lot of fun shooting this gun. Really starting to like the Crimson Trace optics. Haven't had much experience with them in the past, but that's what we were shooting at that event. This gun really stands out to me. It is the CVA Scout. It is a shotgun, single shot, break action, just a little bitty 410. That's all it is. Why would you want a 410 single shot? Well, I actually got this gun from CVA for my son, so he could shoot a turkey at 10 years old without punishing recoil. We use the Federal 410 TSS, the heavyweight TSS. This stuff is lethal. Just drops turkeys with the 410. So fun to shoot. So my son shot his first turkey at 10 years old with this, and then I brought it down to Florida last year, shot my first Osceola with that. It is set up for my son. It is a little short, but I was heading out to Florida, was running out of time. This was already set up with a Vortex red dot on top, so I just thought, I'm gonna grab my son's gun. Shot a turkey with it, ton of fun. This is actually my first 22 right here. This is a Marlin Model 56. Lever action, it's got a real short action to it. Really honed my skills shooting this 22, shooting charcoal and clays and aspirin out of the air with this gun. Ton of fun to shoot it. This actually came from my wife's uncle after he passed away. So that gun has a little history. Speaking of first 22s, here is my kid's first 22, the Savage Rascal. Cool little gun, easy to handle, bolt action, peep sights, pretty decent trigger. Actually, the first time I pulled this up, I pulled it up at 100 yards, started sniping stuff. Great gun to get your kids started out in shooting. I got several ARs down here in the corner. I don't want to show too much of those because the ATF may do funny things here in the near future, banning some of these guns. I really hope they don't. I think that's an infringement on our Second Amendment rights. ARs are some of my favorite guns. My kids shoot ARs for deer hunting. It's light recoil, they're easy to handle, they're fantastic guns for youth. I know they're scary guns to some people. If you're watching this video, you're probably not one of those people, but I absolutely love ARs. I could make a whole nother video why I think they're relevant, why I think they are part of our Second Amendment and should not be infringed upon. We'll save the political talk for another day. One of my favorites down here is this 300 Win Mag by APF, Alec Pro Firearms, actually just manufactured about 10 miles down the road from where I'm at. I used this 300 Win Mag and I did a shot Annie Oakley style, using a mirror to aim, shooting a clay out of the air. Had a lot of fun shooting this gun. Aaron also pulled off some cool trick shots with this gun. Got a few rifles down here. Here's a rifle, a Winchester Model 70 and 300 Win Mag, maple stock, just beautiful. Here's my wife's gun, her first Winchester semi-auto. It's the SX3 and 20 gauge. My wife has shot this over the years. Hey, put it in the comments down below if you would love to see my wife be in some more of the Target Focus Life videos. I think that'd be a good thing. I think it's fun to go out and shoot with my wife. This gun right here is the one that started it all when it comes to shotgun reviews. This is a Winchester SX4 Upland. This was the very first shotgun that I reviewed on the Target Focus Life channel. Still believe it's an awesome gun. When I do some upland hunting, when I'm out in the fields and the prairies, I like a gun that looks a little classier. Right? This is just an SX4, but just having this nice nickel-plated finish, the nicer stock, the engraving. It's a nice little touch if you want to take a semi-auto out in the field. Obviously, I got a whole lot more guns. I'm not going to talk about every one. I've reviewed most of the guns in the safe room. You can dig in there. There's a couple other guns I got hiding over here. These guns aren't generally in my safe room. This is a Glock Model 22. This is one that hangs close by in my bedroom, in my gun vault. Got it set up with a flashlight. It's really nice if the security alarm goes off in the middle of the night, which it actually did last week. Security alarm goes off, hop out of bed, heart's pumping. That means the door was opened in our house, right? I know it's not our kids, they're fast asleep. So I grabbed this gun and immediately start clearing the house. If you look here at California, it's got a red dot in the middle. You double click this thing, you can clear the house. Strobe light on. The other gun that is by my bedside, because why would you want just one gun by your bedside? Now these guns are secured in a gun vault, quick access. Boop, 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 boop. Pops open, lights on, let's rock. Normally these guns are loaded and hot to trot, but I've cleared them for this video. This is a Smith & Wesson Performance Setter M&P 9. Absolutely love this gun. Just want to point out something quick here, guys. I've talked about having guns in different places. Important to keep your guns secured, locked down, so they're not going to be accessed by unauthorized users, maybe like your kids. Of course, my kids have grown up around guns. That doesn't mean they're immune from making bad choices. But over the years, I'll tell you one thing that I have done. And this is something I sort of recommend to other parents if done very carefully. But when my kids were really young, I would take guns, obviously make sure they're clear, unloaded, and I'd leave them around the house. And then I would just observe what would happen when they came across it. If my kids don't know I'm there and they come across a gun, what do? Do they pick it up and grab it? Because one thing I drilled into them is if you find a gun, whether it's at our house or someone else's house, stop, just like the NRA says, stop, don't touch, tell an adult. And I drilled that into my kids. And same thing with the safe room. Even if I'm home and the door is open, my kids know that they need to ask permission before coming in here. My kids shoot and respect firearms. And I think that's an important thing that a lot of kids are losing today. They don't have the experience being around firearms. They don't get hands-on and understand the power and magnitude that these things carry and the responsibility that these things carry. These are not toys. This is not a video game. This is a tool that is capable of taking someone's life, to be taken very seriously. That's my little rant on that. And also, speaking of security, I mentioned my alarm system goes off. All my doors have sensors. I know when doors are opened here. I get notifications to my phone. Also, just for your information, this whole room has 6 inches of concrete. It's 2x4 wall, 6 inches of concrete, and another 2x4 wall. So try to break in here, not gonna happen. Very secure. I built this room, 1, for firearms, obviously, so I'd have a safe place to keep my firearms. Number 2, as a safe room or a storm shelter. We live in Minnesota. We periodically get tornadoes. In fact, we had one coming straight for our house this year. We don't have a basement, so this is our storm room. If we got to hunker down, this is where we stay safe, or a panic room. What I tell my kids is if there's ever a moment where someone's at the door, you're not feeling safe, whatever it is, come in here, lock the door, and they know how to access certain things in here. Hope that never happens, and I pray that never happens. But just stuff that I think about, and I'm sure a lot of you think about as well, as far as the safety and protection of your family, because when seconds count, the cops are about a half hour away. Okay, as we're wrapping up here, a couple last things I want to point out. Check out this sign. My buddy Nick Lundeen made this for me on a CNC machine. Super cool to have that TFL sign. Thank you, Nick, so much for doing that. Here's a map. A lot of people walk in this room and say, oh, is that where you've done shows? And I said, yeah, that's where we did shows about 2010 through 2015. Hasn't been updated in about 7 years. So there'll be a lot more stickers on it. But it is pretty cool to look up and see the different places that I've been able to perform live shows at. Got a little ammo selection over here. Federal has been just an awesome partner to work with, keeping me supplied. Although I will be honest, it takes me a long time to get ammo too. In 2021, 2022, it's taken a long time to get ammo. I'll put in an order and won't receive it for many, many months. So I'm not high and privileged. I don't just get everything on a whim or immediately, but Federal's been a great partner, keeps me well supplied on shotgun ammo, hunting ammo, rimfire ammo, got a few rounds of rimfire ammo. But if the safe room grows anymore, I'm not gonna have room for the ammo. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might have to move up this workbench. This is my workbench that I use if I'm ever just having to do little things, work on guns. Got a lot of choke tubes, Carlson choke tubes in the drawers. I love me a choke tube. A lot of randomness in there, some tools to work on guns. While we're in the safe room, I'm talking about history and memorabilia and cool things. This is a piece of cardboard. Isn't that cool? Actually, this is a piece of cardboard. We were doing a challenge on Kentucky Ballistic Channel with Jerry Michalik, where we were shooting a machine gun and trying to draw your initials. And I thought, oh, I can do this. I haven't shot a lot of machine guns, but I could do it. Absolutely terrible. This is Jerry Michalik. You can see the J and the M. He's obviously much more talented. Kept that around from Jerry Michalik. Hey, speaking of Jerry Michalik, just outside my safe room in my office here, I have some memorabilia. This is a picture that was signed by Jerry, his daughter Lena, and his wife Kay. And what's super cool about this picture is this was when I was starting my career, just getting into the industry. I didn't really know anybody. I was kind of a fanboy, to be honest with you. And just to see how I've went from getting their autographs and first meeting them to eventually collaborating, making videos with them. I'm sure you saw the one that was on Target Focus Life with Jerry and Lena, where we're speed shooting shotguns. Just a ton of fun. Over here is one of my coolest pieces of memorabilia. This is a hat signed by Tom Knapp, 2009. The day that he inspired me and my brother to become professional exhibition shooters. That was at Reed's Gun Fair at Rice Creek. Absolutely so glad I got a hat that day. You may recognize this hat. This is the hat that 22 Plinkster wears in all of his videos, signed by 22 Plinkster. I got ammo signed by Dustin Ellerman, clay signed by my buddy Travis Mears. This is a hat signed by the Dude Perfect guys when Aaron and I were down filming with them. Really cool memory there. And the basketball that I shot into the hoop. First time I ever shot a basketball into a hoop with a shotgun. Well, hey guys, that's a look inside my gun room. It's a look at the secure wall panels from Lockdown. Again, link in the description about that. Most of these guns I've reviewed, as I've said, you can check those out on the YouTube channel. I'd still love to hear, if you haven't already commented, what is the one gun that's in my safe room that you wish you had? And what is the one gun that's not in my safe room that you think I should have? Remember guys, whether you're in the field or in life, it's only those targets that you're laser focused on that you're gonna hit. So live target focused. See ya!